Hello, Proxy Table Gaming fans, regulars, newcomers, everyone. I am Hyper G. You are Lucky Sixes.
I am. Konnichiwa.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have seen that being done 900 times. The new people, the people who are joining us for the old world, and yeah, the people have been joining us for the old world, haven't they?
They have. And it's been very good and very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be our third, fourth, because we
Fourth,
had a slightly different format last week, didn't
we
we?
did. It was a
Um,
very impromptu battle with Mr. Warhol himself that
Indeed, yeah,
has actually been
yeah.
coming in for a while because we've been chatting to him for a while. But I thought I'd put it on the channel like that, as is. So,
Mm,
yeah, hope you
yeah.
enjoyed.
And that, as much as every other old world battle, is a demonstration of us learning rules, learning army stuff, making mistakes and learning through the comment section as well as
Absolutely.
through what we do.
Yeah, and I
I
guess
think,
thanks to
yeah,
to everyone putting all the rules on, right, as well, on the
yeah,
comments.
helping us.
People have been super useful to
Absolutely.
help us along with it. So with all
Yeah.
these games were played like weeks ago, as well. So
Hmm.
many of them have mistakes in, but we were just keen to get them out. So yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy while you can, and do let us know rules and stuff like that.
Oh, keep telling us. Yeah, absolutely, because we want to get things right ultimately. Like my Black Orc issue with my Orc and Goblin army. That was just a mistake from the early days and won't be done again. And it didn't turn out all that well for them anyway. So, yeah, and we'll see how this one goes. But I think this one we're going to be seeing two new armies again for the
We
channel.
are. These are nearly at the full nine. This
Nearly,
means
yes.
nearly the full nine. We've got
Um,
two more, which is going to be the next battle, Bretonia versus Empire. But yeah,
yes, of
uh,
course.
High Elf Realms versus the Tomb Kings, which is
Mm.
the Kingdom of the Tomb Kings. So yeah, very excited
Yeah,
to see.
and you're a regular high elf player in its various guises. So
Yep.
you are taking on the high elves. I hate them with a passion, and maybe we'll never play them, but you'll never know. Yeah, new old world, and why not? Maybe we'll build bridges there. But I've always liked the idea of Tomb Kings. So absolutely, I was happy to take them on, having never really controlled them in
Hmm.
the Ninth Age. But happy to give them a run out and see what I can come up with. See what weird lists I can come up with.
Yeah, and
Of
we were going for the jankiest of jank, and we saw that the
course.
handmaiden being the general allowed Sisters of Avalon in core, which is the craziest thing. However, we should say there is a slight change in this. Well, we already know something that's happened. We were very excited, and I made this list because I was like, "This is crazy. It's too good to be true," and it was. Because
Yes,
the Star Dragon. So basically, the general has to be.
the model.
Just me. The model that was the highest leadership. Absolutely, that's
Yes.
a old school thing that hasn't been the case from our point of view for a little while. So I thought, well, I'll have the general as a handmaiden and the prince as a Star Dragon, just going off and doing his own thing. Not to be.
Yeah.
So
And
take
so
this
and so
list with a
yeah, how
pinch
does
of
that
salt.
interact with the rest? What
Uh,
what makes it the rest of it illegal then?
so
So you've
now
got to have
sisters cannot be in core.
because the general is a prince. So the only
Correct.
way you can have Sisters of Avalon in core
Is
is
if you
if
have
your
handmaiden as a
general is a
queen,
handmaid.
or a queen or
And because
general,
she's not the highest leadership in this bunch of characters,
she's
she
not
couldn't be the
allowed to be.
general.
Yeah,
So
so
your choices are drop the prince on the Star Dragon or don't have Sisters of Avalon in core.
correct. Which just means this will be filtered into two
Boom.
different lists from going forwards.
Yeah. I
But
really want to see how many comments we get to say this list is illegal
yeah.
for
Well,
one reason or
hopefully,
another.
as a
Yeah.
default, we will know. But yeah, so we'll see
Yeah.
how this plays. But in the future, there'll be now two different high elf lists. One with Sisters of Corn in core,
Spawn.
Sisters of Avalon in core,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one with the dragon. So they'll be separate in the
Yeah.
future. But yeah, interesting to see nonetheless. So we've got Handmaiden, Noble BSB with both Bow of Avalon. The Handmaiden has a Horn of Isha to allow her sisters +1 to hit and to wound 1 turn, which is cool.
Nice.
I've got the Star Dragon, so the 2 up, 5 up, 5 up.
Insane.
Just that he does have a bow, but yeah.
A Reaver bow.
Yes, but otherwise
twice
bow? Apparently. It's like a magical bow for that. I've got a level 4 Battle Magic Archmage, Pure of Heart, which means they automatically pass Panic, I think it is. Silvery Run for an extra spell, and Ruby Ring of Ruin for an extra spell. So she's got 6 spells, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And that Ring of Ruin is fast becoming your favourite item.
Oh, I think it's
in the old world, isn't it?
Automatic in every single list. I don't understand why people wouldn't take it. So this is
because you can always attempt to cast it, can't you, in the old world? So
brilliant.
It definitely makes sense.
Silver Helms basically round off core from the Sisters of Avalon 20 with Stubborn. Then I have both types of Phoenix and a Lion Chariot to finish off. Pretty cool. So give it a go.
Yeah, great. I'm suddenly remembering that I need to talk through my list. So I've got to try and remember what everything does. We've got some red on that. Oh yeah, it's because I couldn't actually select them.
Starting with core. You have 4 lots of the skeleton archers.
I do.
And 3 lots of the skeleton warriors with thrusting spears.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so I pack my core. The Tomb Kings do have an option to take Tomb Guard in core. I'm doing it now. If you do certain things with your army build, etc. And I originally had that thinking, well, all these options of taking elite troops in core is amazing. But then I changed my idea and sort of went with just bring 600 bodies in core instead. Because that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, not 600. Sorry, I've done 600. From the points and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of models in core. And what is it? 40? Is 100 models in core? Yeah, that's right. I don't know where I got my 600 from. I did the calculation in my head that was totally wrong. But yeah, it's a lot of models in core, and the way I see it is I'm hoping to be regrowing a lot of these guys. They won't really do a lot. And to enable that, or at least is in the plan, was a Tomb King on a Necrolith Bone Dragon, which is cool because I'm not Dragon Man. Lucky 60 is Dragon Man. Although we are going against a dragon, so that's cool too. I decided to bring the Ruby Ring of Ruin as well because apparently it's a good item and you should include it. And I also brought the Flail of Skulls, which is 1 time plus something strength. I
plus
can't
3.
Exactly what it is.
So it's the flails are the first round of combat only. Yeah.
Yes.
So it will work in multiple combats. It would just be the first round only.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. Let me go to the magic items.
I think it's plus 3 strength and plus 3 AP as well. Pretty good on the AP front, I remember.
Only 1 on the AP front, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, only 1 on the AP front. And it's multiple wounds too, as well. So yeah, it's pretty nice little item. As long as you can get through things quickly. And the idea of being on a big bone dragon is that you hopefully can get through things quickly. I have a High Priest level 4 on Elementalism. I think this is did I have a level 4 in the Goblin? I did. I think I probably did actually. But Elementalism looks pretty cool. And in a weird way, I managed to get another bone dragon in. I was like, why stick with one?
Yeah.
Why just stick with 1? So yeah, I ended up with 2, which is really cool. And I gave him the Hieratic Jar. Single use during the command subphase. If they're not engaged in combat, the bearer of the Hieratic Jar can release the power held within it. I may attempt to resurrect the fallen by using the Rise special twice during this command phase. Yeah, which is really cool. So that goes along with my bodies
curing, like you said.
Exactly, yeah. And then I decided to stick with a couple of level 1 priests, and the reason for that was just to have the extra command phase of the Arise options, because all of them can attempt to arise in their command phase. if they pass their leadership checks, I think is what it is.
Mhm.
I stuck one on necromancy and one on elementalism. One with the dispel scroll and one with the scarab brooch, which is allows you to bring up ambushers from within 18 inches of the model instead of within 12 inches of the model. And we both read this a certain way the first time, as in anyone on the board can use the arise from beneath the sands from within 18 inches, but it is just him who can do that. And that's how we played it, so that was all right. We managed to read through that a few times. We've already been through the core. I've got Khemri and War Sphinx with a fiery roar breath weapon, and he's got 2 additional Tomb Guard crew on him because I had points for it. I went with 2 Tomb Scorpions who are going to be ambushing. They're going to be from beneath the sands as well, which is really, really cool. Liking that as an option. Oh yeah, Necro Sphinx. I had 200 points left. Why not stick it in? And he's another big beastie. We'll see how they all get on.
Yeah, so you got 3 big flyers as well, which is an important thing.
Yeah, two dragons and the Necro Sphinx flyers as well.
Very scary. Very scary.
Yeah, really cool.
We played the Drakwold Forest Incident, which is a meeting engagement with a slight addition to it, in that basically you roll wands to see what
is deployed,
and what is not woken up yet. And you rolled a load of ones.
Yeah, it was quite. I mean, when we read this, we were like, "Oh, that's cool." Some of your army are going to be off the board, so you have to deal with what you've got on the board. And yeah, I rolled mine first. No, I think you rolled yours first, actually, didn't you?
I did, and I didn't roll any. And we were
didn't roll a single
this will
one.
be it was less fun.
And then this isn't a picture of my army. Don't be fooled. This is a picture of everything that rolled a 1 on a d6. You'll see what I deploy shortly. Obviously, we're proxy table gaming. I'm proxying quite a lot as we go for this because I don't own many.
The big guys are the bone dragons. The
Feldrax,
dinosaur,
or whatever they would be.
Oh yeah, the Feldrax are the scorpions. The dinosaur-looking model is
the War Sphinx.
War Sphinx. So
Then one of the mortuary priests, one of the archers, and one of the skeletons were not joining me at the start of the battle.
Yeah.
And wow, you kind of need models to be on the board to. Well, ambushers don't come on until
all your characters pretty much bar 1.
Yeah, I had 1 level 1 character on the board. This is going to make this a very interesting battle in that sense. I think I had. Well, you can see what I've actually deployed. Do you want to go through your deployment first? Actually, probably more. Well,
sure.
It's more full. Put it that way.
I mean, I got everything. So I had Lion Chariot, Frost Phoenix, the big unit of archers with all the on-foot characters, the
Sisters
dragon,
of Avalon.
Yeah, dragon in the middle, looking that way just so they could get a bit closer. But although we don't pivot before moving, so there is a bit of a It was a little bit of a anti-climax doing that move. Then a Flames Phoenix and with the silver helms on the side.
Looking to rush me while I didn't have much on it on my board, really.
Yeah, I'm as far up as I can possibly be.
Yeah, I was in 2 minds about my deployment. I went with this, but as you can see, I've got pretty much most of my core on the board. I was only missing 2 of my core units out of the 7 core units I had. And they weren't really what my army was built to hold the lines with, if that makes sense. A lot of my fun, good stuff was outside of core. So looking at it from left to right, I've got a unit of skeleton archers, another unit of skeleton archers, then a big unit of skeletons, so big unit, 20. A unit of skeleton archers, and then on the right of those infantry models is another unit of skeletons facing towards the hill. And then I've literally got my War Sphinx as the only really interesting model on my side of the board.
Is that the non-flyer?
That's the non-flyer. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we will see how he gets on. And I put the mortuary priest in the archers on the right of the 3 archers.
Yep.
I did when we talked about this pretty openly. Like we were like, well, you're not going to get any of your army on until turn 2, unless you do Beneath the Sun. You can do straight away. If you pass a leadership test, you can do, like my one model that was on the board could do a Beneath the Sands roll. If I pass that, then I can get 1 unit of my choice on from Beneath the Sands. But we talked about it, like my deployment. Like, should I just be like in that far left corner and literally give you a longer time to get to me? But I went with this just because I was like interested to see what would happen, and meet whatever you could bring towards me. Really.
Yeah, and just to increase the pain on you, I won first turn.
You did.
So
Yes.
Immediately, before any movement or anything, I got a 5 at war save on my main unit. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Then I marched.
Yeah.
I marched very much around you, not really caring
Yes.
for skeletons in any way, shape, or form.
No, and I mean, I think it's, to some extent I was rabbit in headlights a bit as well, because the place of my war swings is absolutely woeful. Like, bearing in mind what you did about it, because I there's no way I should allow you to just march out of my line of sight, that war swings, but I did with absolutely everything you had. So,
and
yeah,
very
that
much
was silly
what
of
we
me.
said about
Now
earlier,
my war swings
pouncing
can't
on.
even defend any of that back line.
Yeah, very much going to what we said earlier, and pouncing on the early advantage, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah,
There's
this
the
shows you
arrows.
where it all comes. There you go. There you go. That's what happened in that order, I'm sure.
Definitely.
I throw some shooting at the only skeleton block with any character in. So this is the shooting that's done. Then or fireball. Oh, fireball finishes them off. There's 1 wound on your guy, but doesn't quite kill him.
No, and he's only got 2 HP as well, so it was
Yeah,
very close to me losing all my characters on the board.
absolutely.
And obviously that would have taken away an option to get more on the board as well. So
Yeah, and then you dispelled the second one. So
I think I used a spell scroll on it,
mm,
and rolled enough. We're doing it properly now.
yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I get Pillar of Fire to see what that can do. Put it as far forward as possible. I do get to choose the movement of this one, I think. It moves in a direction of my
the
choice.
caster's
Yes.
choosing.
So that is an improvement, I think, on some of the other ones. And it goes this way,
Massively.
9 inches, but doesn't hit you, I don't think.
No, I think you were limited by how far forward you could cast it.
Yeah.
Which is
And I also think
probably
you
why
dispelled
it's
it
a
as
move
well.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dispelled it at the start of my turn. Yeah.
After a move, so there you go. Then your Scorpion comes on underneath the sands.
Yeah. I was very much right. He is all on top of me. I know. I did my arise roll, and failed, basically, which I think that meant I couldn't recover my wound on my mortuary priest, as far as I'm aware. I think that it wouldn't actually bring a model onto the table, not in turn 1 anyway.
Yeah.
And Beneath the Sands, because Scorpions have a proper Beneath the Sands rather than ambush, and I'd paid for the ambush upgrade on the Scorpions, I could bring a Scorpion on. But because I only had 1 character on the board, that was the only role I could do. So it wasn't like I could bring the whole rest of my army on with Beneath the Sands, because each character can do a Beneath the Sands role, but I only had 1 character to do the role. So yeah, and I was a bit.
You could only bring the Scorpions on via Beneath the Sands anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. The others were in reserve, so to speak, in the scenario.
Didn't necessarily go next to the Beneath the Sands bit, but yeah.
No, and also this is the mortuary priest that I had on the board was not the Scarab Brooch one, so I had to deploy the Scorpion within 12 inches, and I didn't really know what to do with him at this stage, because everything seemed a bit inadequate because of the fact that you had so many good stuff on top of me. So, and I had no idea where you were going to charge next. I mean, I had some idea of where I would charge, and that was just kill everything I've got on the board, because I'm very limited in my defense. But with 1 Scorpion, and you were flying everywhere, there wasn't much I could do to block you, because I can't block a flying model with the Scorpion, and the dragons are all in front of your silver helms. So yeah, I just stuck him there because I was like, yeah, I just need to see what I can do, bit by bit, step by step.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, this is your movement, and it looks like you just moved back.
Yeah,
main skeletons.
I moved back with all the skeletons. The mortuary priest joined the block of skeletons, relative safety for him now. I moved my war sphinx. I don't know. Did I fail a march check? Oh no, Tomb Kings can't march. Yeah, so like in my
unless
head,
you're a flyer, which is why
unless you're a flyer, which is why I'd got loads of flyers. Yeah, you can fly in a Tomb Kings army. You can march if you can fly. So my war sphinx was in a position where I could turn him around to try and predict where your units were going to charge. But my issue with that was whatever you charged were probably just going to eradicate, because they were only skeletons. And you could absolutely just destroy anything you got into. And so I went with the War Sphinx to keep my options open. I.e., I had the option of going after the highborn, the silver helms. But I also really had an option of going for the Sisters of Avalon, who I thought would probably struggle to kill that guy on its way to them. It was kind of abandoning my skeleton line a bit, and with the Scorpion, I moved him up in front of the Frost Phoenix in the hope that you would go for him instead of the skeleton line and give me a bit longer with a mortuary priest on the board. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
So I charge him. So there was a way in which the Star Dragon could sort of turn, clip this very corner, and then go into your Scorpion. And the Silver Helms decided to try their luck against some skeletons. Surely they'll beat some skeletons.
You'll see where the dragon ends up to see how it's possible. Basically, it's possible to hit the Scorpion on the left side as we're looking at it.
The Frost Phoenix goes into the Mortuary Priest, and the Lion Chariot goes into some archers as well. So there we go.
Yeah, any shooting I do as a stand and shoot is ill-effective.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you could or not, whether we worked out whether you could.
I can. Yeah, I can. Being unbreakable and whatnot doesn't, or whatever the immune to psychology still means you can stand and shoot. It just means you can't flee.
Cool.
Obviously, correct us if we're wrong on anything, folks.
Yeah. This is something that I did. Oh, this is the +1 to wound. The Horn of Isha. Going, which is as we said, the +1 to hit and +1 to wound.
Yeah, the +1 to wound, that obviously signifies you're going from the War Sphinx, because wounding that on a 5 rather than on a 6 is massive. So.
I also get the 5 up ward save just in case. I fly over you and do 1 wound.
With your burning flame Phoenix burning something.
Yep. And this is
a bit underwhelming, actually, wasn't it?
It was. It was surprising. I don't know how much freedom of movement you have as a flyer in terms of moving sort of like that. I think you still have to wheel and such. So it actually is quite limiting, we found as we were going along. But this otherwise is how movement finishes.
It is.
Which is basically the charges all get in.
Yeah, because my Scorpion closed the door to your dragon in the end, which is why the dragon was able to fit in that gap. You can see the little marker where the Phoenix was, and the dragon could land there, and then I would close the gap with the Scorpion while the Phoenix was still standing there, and then the Phoenix would move, which made it all legal. Carry on.
So shooting does 2 wounds to the Sphinx. I get 1 more off with a fireball. But in doing so, I think I double wand the attempt to cast it again and get a small template and do some wounds to myself, which is funny.
It is.
This is the one we rolled up, the 3-inch blast template. So
and we are factoring in the fact that model bases are bigger than they should be.
So there was just a lot of risk.
It was like
hit.
agreeing on what we
Yeah.
think it should hit, sort of thing.
Over here in combat, I do only 2 wounds, I think, and lose 1. But then there's also 3 crumble or 3 or 2 the other way around. I'm not quite sure. But we stick, and you give ground, and
You did more than 3 wounds.
So
Oh, you mean
after the
crumble?
crumble, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think I either do 3 and you crumble 2, or I do 2 and you crumble 3. It's largely ineffectual.
Yeah.
But you give ground and move to here. It was still on the board.
Yeah, we had a good look at this. Like, this was where we were like wondering about if you give ground off the board, are you destroyed? And because
it comes up later.
The FAQ,
it does come up later. Yeah.
And I had not. Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. So I think you were just on anyway. Here.
We said I was just on because it was a matter of millimeters at this stage.
And yeah, we've got that. So, but yeah, otherwise I go into the Scorpion and kill the Scorpion, and I massively overrun into the Phoenix, which not really bothered by, to be honest. That's fine. And then we go on to the Phoenix one, who only does 2 wounds with all those attacks, takes 1 in return in a crazy way, and actually loses combat by 1, fails the break test, and flees all this way in the craziest matchup. That I just didn't even think this was an option, and then he ran.
You did allocate some of your attacks on the mortuary priest, and you failed to kill him.
Just didn't do anything. It was just so funny. Well. It was so funny. Which also meant that you were able to pursue me and go into the flank of my dragon. And I was like, okay. well, I'm not going to be charging them. Yeah.
Little lowly skeletons doing that.
Yeah. Go skeletons. So yeah, it was funny.
Absolutely.
That was. Yeah, and that's where it all went. Over here, the chariot goes in, does loads of wounds. I think he does.
He was ramped up. He was on it. Yeah.
So that was the 5 was the impact hits.
I think you did the 6 actual attacks. I think you rolled maximum.
Well, yeah, I got 5 in one. Was it another one? Or I just missed one there. Okay, fair enough. But either way, I crumble you, but fail my restrain check and have to run. Which is funny as well.
Yeah.
And I go to that. That's how I end up. Back to the start of the turn, and this pillar of fire goes into you. I can't remember. It must have been.
Well, you choose to move it.
I choose to move it, and you don't dispel it. It goes in, and but unfortunately doesn't do any wounds. I don't think, or does 1 maybe maximum.
Yeah.
I remember being very underwhelmed. Anyway. These guys roll to come on.
They do.
Hurrah.
Yeah. So this is my turn too, right? Yeah. So some of my army is now going to turn up. I've got more than 600 points on the board now. Yay!
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I've lost a fair amount of points in the meantime. But yeah. Yeah.
And they come on like so.
Yes. So what have we got? We've got the 2 dragons have come on. The one that you can see, the blue high elf dragon, is the
king
leash priest.
Oh, is that that's the leash priest?
Yeah. The other one, the vampiric dead one, is the king. I basically marched him very aggressively towards your Sisters of Avalon because I wanted them dead, and I was like, no, all my skeletons are probably going to die. There's no point in reinforcing them. Let's go after the heart of your army and try and take out your magic and all that stuff. So I was going to be quite aggressive towards that. My least priest stayed on the hill as an option of what he can do to regrow my skeletons and keep you pinned as long as possible. That was the idea behind him being there. But I have missed my chance to do a rise because of ambush, etc. Like there's really like. You have to really get your head around the order of things when you've got ambushers and a rise and beneath the suns and everything. But I think I've done everything right, and I believe that it was just a bit tricky for me to do everything all at once because they were all coming onto the board at certain times. Meanwhile, I think I might be wrong about which one flies. I think it might actually be the one that's moved towards your Sisters of Avalon that flies, because he seems to have moved a long way. So that might be the flyer. that's come shooting forward.
Okay.
And it might be the War Sphinx that's come forward. But whilst they're not in combat, they're very similar in terms of their builds.
Yeah.
Toughness is the same, etc. But we'll find out. The other one you can see just behind the dragon, kind of merged into the dragon there, has come over to chase after your flames, Phoenix and Chariot. Yeah, that's my army coming on.
You have some magic now?
I do have some magic. Yay! So I put a magical vortex on, an elemental spirit. This is one I don't move it myself. It moves in a random direction, so we'll see what that does, if anything.
Over here into the second combat, and I think I do 3 wounds and end up winning by 1 because of whatever it is. And this is where the give ground happens.
Sure.
That we had the discussion that we had. So technically it would take them off. And there is an FAQ, as you said, that has come out since the rulebook. We were searching on high and low in the rulebook, and we just couldn't find it. Which is probably why it was released as an FAQ.
Me. Yeah. The bit that was confusing me in the rulebook was you can never move off the board edge. It says in the rulebook, no one can ever move off the board edge. Like it's I don't know the exact wording, but it's like under any circumstances, no unit can move off the board edge, unless fleeing. I think it is, which obviously I can't flee. And we were like, well, give ground is a bit different. It's because it's kind of a flee, but not. And yeah, the FAQ clears it up completely, but for one reason or another, we couldn't.
We didn't think even to go to the FAQ. We were just trying to find out. So we ended up playing them on the board, but we know.
Yeah,
we know. But also, what happened was because it's my turn next, as you can see, before we go on to this crazy combat, I actually didn't pursue you. I was going to just wait and then charge you my next turn. So that's what that is over on that corner. However, going back to the skeletons, and my Star Dragon just kills a bunch and just so many attacks. Yeah. Which actually works the complete opposite way and ends up crumbling you to the man.
Yeah. This was like, oh no. I thought I'd pinned your dragon there, and everything that I had planned, which obviously isn't much anyway, everything I had planned was based on the fact that you wouldn't have a free dragon in your next turn.
Yeah.
And now, because the dragon has literally gone mental on those skeletons, you're going to have a free dragon.
Unpinned and has his
reign
of choice to go and goes, you know what? The Hierophant, baby.
Yeah, there he is. And I'm thinking to myself, eek, that's not great. I mean, I am a dragon, but you're a bloomin' good dragon with a bloomin' good guy on top. And now it's not very far away for you to charge me, and it's going to be your turn next.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, whoopsie-doos.
On the start of the turn, your elemental spirit ends up coming this way over me, and I think there's a few wounds, but I can't remember. We haven't got the wounds.
I think it's one.
It might not do any, to be fair, but yeah. And I continue running, also with the
you don't rally.
Who's just a waste of space in this battle completely. I do put 5 up ward save on my Queen's Guard just in case you guys come in. So hopefully.
I mean, arguably the Phoenix lured in my skeletons to give your dragon a free recall.
Exactly. Yeah, he's actually the secret MVP.
Phoenix. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But otherwise, I take these 2 charges. The Silver Helms are doing a good job grinding, and on the charge they're slightly better. So I'll just keep going with that.
Because we had this in other things. Because the Silver Helms charged, but they charged less than 2 inches, they still get their charging bonus for their weapons, but they wouldn't get impact hits. Is that right?
They wouldn't get impact hits if they're a chariot, and their initiative is reduced by to 2 inches. To 2.
Yeah.
So,
but they can still use their weapons. They get better on the charge. They don't lose that for charging.
Yeah, it's just impact hits, really, is the big thing for 3 inches, which we will have in a future battle.
Yeah.
And the Star Dragon goes in.
Indeed.
They get in like so.
Gets in. And the Leash Priest is thinking, oh, I should have gone the other way and let the actual Tomb King fight this one. But,
the Flame Phoenix that has loads of flight flies over these skeletons again.
You like hard wheeled round, didn't you?
Yeah, and then gets out of line of sight of the other Sphinx. And this is the remainder, which actually ends up the remainder of the movement, other than the Sisters of Avalon, making sure both are in the front for whatever reason.
Yeah, they know that they're probably not going to be able to outrun. I think you failed the march check, didn't you?
Possibly. Yeah, I don't think it mattered too much. I'm too big to get out, I don't think. I do 2 more wounds with shooting to the Sphinx, which is amazing. And fireball, a single fire. I do have 2 fireballs, to be fair, but a single fireball ends up killing it off. Happy days.
Yeah,
and that's
sometimes.
1 threat gone. 1 threat gone.
Massive.
Over here, talking about threats gone, I go in, I do 4 wounds. And overall, because of all the charging, you do none to me because
no, my dice had given up by this stage.
Yeah, but also 2 up, 5 up, 5 up. Turns out it's pretty good.
I don't think I got to your saves. I don't think I wounded you on falls.
Yeah,
so I
you
was
might not have,
6 dragon. I don't think I even wounded you. So I don't think we tested it at that stage.
Yeah, but you have 8 wounds, I believe. And
yes.
So winning by 4 was enough to pop you.
Crumbled exactly right.
To the dust, and he fell over very carefully on the hill.
Down the hill.
In other news, because of at the end of the phase that he dies, there's a bit of crumble going on, which means my silver helms do a decent amount and crumble you a bit, but then you die the rest.
Yes, I mean technically I should have been given ground off the board anyway at that stage. Hey.
And this is you. This is action shot of you crumbling.
My army crumbling, yes,
to dust. But yeah, you can see all the other crumbles over there, and it just continues to crumble.
At the start of my turn, I then crumble more. Yeah, so you crumble instantly when your Hierophant goes down, and you crumble again at the start of every turn. And my army is just disappearing, which is the effect that means don't lose your Leash Priest. The Hierophant, basically.
These guys do come on, but it's all a little bit too little, too late.
I put them in a corner. There was just no point in them joining the battle at this stage. We all knew which way it was going. It was literally just, what can the Tomb King do? Is the rest of the battle, basically.
Yeah, which is what he's doing here, charging in. And, I mean, we do have the rest of the movement, but there wasn't much movement going on.
No. I know I'm going to crumble again soon. So,
yeah. He goes in, I challenge, do the old classic Archmage going, come on then, bring it on, I've got a 5 uplet.
And my Tomb King claims at least 1 victim.
Absolutely.
Which is the form of your wizard. So that is definitely the highlight for the Tomb Kings in this one so far.
Points.
Yep. That's right. Yeah.
And that sort of takes us to the end of the turn. I do pop the stubborn. So that I, because I have it the first time they're in combat, and I do it so that I can move back, which actually gives you a bit of a quandary, because my guy is behind you, technically. So you end up being like, this is my turn next. So you end up moving like this so that I couldn't get a rear.
Yeah, a rear. Yeah, it was a weird one. There wasn't really a good way for me to face, really. Because you fell back in good order and then were free to charge. We couldn't see any reason why you couldn't charge.
Yeah.
So you could get a rear. I mean, we were already thinking it was likely that your prince was going to end up in a challenge with my dragon, which meant that your Sister of Avalons were free of danger while they were fighting. And so I didn't want to give you the rear bonus as opposed to just the flank bonus, because crumbling is a big thing for Tomb Kings. So
it is.
Yeah, I did that to reduce the impact of the rear charge.
Yeah, and we kind of just we see how the battle's going, and we go, you know what? They crumble. Don't worry about them. Crumble. There's one battle that means anything, and it is this one.
It is.
My Frost Phoenix rallies to watch. I don't know whether that's
of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I go in with both. I know it's not adding
+1 for watching.
+1 for watching. That's the thing in Old World. But safe to say, it doesn't go the Tomb King's way. My Star Lance Dragon, you do get a wound off, which multiplies into 2, I think.
Yes.
into him, which is
a single win.
Considering your AP1 going against 2 plus 5 plus 5 plus, is pretty good actually.
I think I wounded with a fair few because I think I was like strength 6 and I actually did some wounds to you, but getting through 3 lots of saves is incredible.
Yeah, and I think I do a similar amount of wounds, 3 or 4 wounds, and then all the extra crumble because I've got a BSB and a flank as well this time. Just crumbles you off, and it's a bit of a bit of an end
for the Tomb Kings, really.
It is, yeah, it was. So it does end like this. I didn't know the exact point. I think it's this because you didn't have BSB. Yeah. No. For a crushing victory. Oh goodness me! For the High Elves, but it wasn't really a fair fight, was it? You had multiple arms tied behind your back there.
Yeah, and legs. It was just, when you build a list and you build your list to have 2 dragons, 2 big monstery things, and 2 beasts that come up from under the sand, and you only get one of those 6 on the board, not even to mention your quite a lot of points I put into magic and a rising, and none of that could be used until turn 2, and even then I couldn't get, by then it was over. And in hindsight, I absolutely should have made it a no battle in turn 1. I should have deployed in my furthest corner and said, you've got to waste 2 turns getting to me, by which time you'll have a problem because you'll have units coming on from my rear, and then you won't be able to charge my core. That's what I should have done. And competitively, I probably would have done that. But I also wanted to see exactly how it would play out.
It was interesting. It's the first time a scenario had really come into play in terms of affecting the battles in any way.
And so heavily as well, because you literally had no units in reserve. All of them rolled a 2+. And I think we worked it out, didn't we? Out of the 200 points, I deployed 600 points against your 2,000. And because you were capable of literally marching forward and being on me,
that's a big
it was like the worst time to not have 1,400 points on the board. Because you could really seize on it. But we should say, and I get how ironic this is because I know that I played illegal.
You're gonna go
I played illegal dwarves.
Okay,
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. We have to go there. I played illegal dwarves because of my runic weapons. And I also played illegal orcs because I had 1 unit of black orcs.
Yep.
But you played an illegal highborn elf list.
Yeah.
So because I lost those 2 battles, it didn't matter. But you won this battle, so therefore, is there a big cross coming over this crushing victory? Because obviously, I actually won
morally,
the battle.
yes. Morally,
yes. I'm taking it. So... I'm going there and I'm taking it.
No, it's good. Yeah. It's good. Modest in victory.
2-1.
I like it.
2-1 between us now.
Exactly. But yeah, no. Otherwise,
crushing defeat for High Elves.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's what I meant. So yeah, no.
I hope you enjoyed that, folks.
Yeah, let us know if you like the battle. Let us know if the rules popping up is useful to you and things like that. I've tried to put that.
It's useful to me.
Yeah, that's why I do it, to be honest. But whether or not you want more of that, or if you've got any suggestions about the battle report in terms of its format, whether you liked this compared to the live action or as well as, let us know all that, folks, and keep the comments coming with all the things that I'm sure that we've done wrong. Otherwise, check us out on Twitter or X, Facebook, Patreon as well. We have a good Patreon going at the minute, some good interactions, and Warhol as well, which we showed you last week. Do go on that, and I think there's a Warhol tournament coming up actually. I don't have the details for it. It's just something I heard through the grapevine. So maybe there's that as well. Do keep subscribe and like and all that jazz because it does help us out. Also, we've got a few of the upcoming battles where a lot of the I know that in not the next one but the one after, Linehammer does definitely come in. So there's a few.
Oh, it really does.
The next few battles are going to have a few talked about discussion points. So do come along for those as well. And
no doubt I do things illegally and all sorts. So.
That's it. Next week rounds off our first round of all of the armies as well. So,
we'll have seen them all.
if you've got to this point and you've been with us and you've gone, oh, I haven't seen Bretonia or Empire. Next week's your week, baby.
Oh yeah, it really is. Yeah, thanks for watching, folks. We really appreciate your support, and the comments are brilliant. So keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely. But until next time, see you later.